Hello, welcome to Movie Castle. I am your host, Cooper. It is just me today in the castle, a bit of a non-traditional episode for you all. I have a series of various Blu-rays and film-related books that I want to show off. A little bit of a physical media haul for the sake of what we like to call content. Most of this is stuff that was either purchased on the most recent Criterion sale back in November or is stuff I got for Christmas or over the holiday season. My birthday is also in that time, so stuff from that as well. Most of it is Criterion. There are a few non-Criterions, then I have some books here, obviously. So I'm just going to speed through them, talk about the movies a little bit, and hope you enjoy this physical media haul that I have for you all. So the first movie I want to show off is this 4K copy of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I don't normally buy 4Ks, but this was a used copy. It's actually in its original shrink wrap, but it was considered used, so I got it for like $13. I think this movie is incredibly underrated and is one of like the best movies to come out of the 70s. I love the production design. I love the music, the feel of the movie. I think it's very special, and I think it's kind of become a bit underrated at this point. I love how provocative it is as a movie for children. I think the Gene Wilder performance is also really incredible. So I'm excited to have this in the collection and to, I don't know, be able to throw on. And I mean, hopefully it'll look like really good and be very pretty, because this movie is pretty, but it's a 4K copy. Hopefully it's worth the extra couple dollars. That is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Our only new release in the collection of movies I have here is Superman. This is the James Gunn one that came out last year. One of my favorites from last year. I just like, this movie was made for me. And I'm probably going to say that a couple more times throughout, like at the best of episodes and stuff like that. But I love how comic booky it is. I love how it feels like the cartoons I grew up with and the comic books I read as a kid. It's not afraid to lean into that, and that's something that I think a lot of comic book movies are afraid to do, is lean into the comicness of it all. So I love that about it. I love the celebration of punk rock and celebration of journalism at the center of this. I think David Cornsweet is perfect casting. Same thing with like Nicholas Hoult and Rachel Brosnan. One of my favorite movies of the year. Really remarkable. I'm excited to see what they do next with this character and this universe. So that is Superman. Right, next we have a copy of Glengarry Glen Ross. This is one of the most underrated movies from the 90s, I think. I don't think a lot of people around my age, the Gen Z age, really know about Glengarry Glen Ross. Except that it is pretty influential and parodied from time to time. Stacked cast here. We have Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Alec Baldwin, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey. A lot of guys just like in rooms here talking. Really, really remarkable screenplay. I believe it's based off a stage play. I'm not entirely sure on that. I don't know anything about it if it is a stage play, but I think it is a very special movie that I highly recommend if you have not seen it before. I got this for pretty cheap at the record store for just like a few dollars. So thought I'd have it in the collection. All right, next up we have a steelbook copy of Jordan Peele's debut film, Get Out. I don't own Us, and then I think once I get Us, I'll have a complete Jordan Peele collection. But my favorite Jordan Peele movie just kind of depends on whichever one I saw most recently, which may have been this one, it may have been Nope, I can't remember. But obviously just like an impeccable screenplay. I don't really need to tell you why Get Out's an instant classic. I think everybody knows. This isn't the last time we're going to talk about Get Out on this episode. I have more Get Out stuff coming up soon. But excited to have this on Steelbook. Very cool. I'm excited for whatever Jordan Peele does next. I'm not sure if that movie he's working on comes out this year or not. I don't know if it kind of just seems like it's in production hell, which is unfortunate because I think he has a really great 3-movie run. So that is Get Out. Instant classic if you haven't seen it already. Next, we're going to move on to the Criterions that I have. This is David Cronenberg's History of Violence. I just watched this for the first time, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago maybe, and I really loved it. I was kind of blown away by it. It's a comic book adaptation. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but what makes this different is that it's not really a horror movie. It's like just kind of a crime thriller, which is a little different for Cronenberg, especially at this point in his career. I have a lot of issues with Cronenberg as a filmmaker, specifically with how he writes characters. I find them very unmemorable, and I did not feel that way about this movie. I mean, I think Cronenberg's strong suits are like his ability to have like cool concepts and themes throughout his films, but I don't think he's the strongest character writer. And this breaks that mold for me. This and The Fly, I would say. And this honestly might be my favorite Cronenberg movie. I think Viggo Mortensen is great. I just think it's a remarkable screenplay and very tense at points. It's really great, and it's this and The Fly for me, I think, at this point. So I think this is underrated because it's not considered like a body horror movie. So I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. I highly recommend it though. So do check out History of Violence if you have it on streaming or something like that. Next up, we got 2024's Flow. This is one of my favorite movies from that year. I think it is a remarkable achievement in independent filmmaking. Just, it looks incredible, I think. And I've never really seen anything else like this. It's not perfect. I think the dog could look a little better, personally. But I was really moved by this. And I found it very tense, which I love. As I mentioned with Willy Wonka, I like things that are a bit more challenging in kids' movies, and I think this is I don't know, it just had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was really worried about these animals. So really excited to have this in the collection, excited to throw it on at some point. Glad that it won Best Animated last year, and it's cool to see something like this become the cult classic that it has been. I've been rooting for it since I saw it, so that is Flow. Next up, we have a blind buy. We have To Die For by Gus Van Sant. I don't normally do blind buys simply for the fact that I don't really trust them. But I thought there was no way that this wouldn't appeal to me. This is a TV journalism movie, which is something I'm very interested in. I like Gus Van Sant. I don't think there's anything I've seen from him that I haven't enjoyed. So I felt that it was in the cards that I would like this, and I did. I liked it a lot. It's probably in my top 3 for Gus Van Sant. This, Good Will Hunting, and Elephant in some sort of order, but I love the lens that this is told through of it being like a TV segment. I think that's very unique. It's not quite a mockumentary, but it's like teetering on it a little bit. Nicole Kidman's great. Joaquin Phoenix is great. Matt Dillon is great. And I love the way it looks. The way that this looks and it feels is very special to me. And Nicole knocks it out of the park. Again, she's very good in this. One of her best performances, probably. And I think it's, again, kind of become an underrated movie. So if you haven't seen To Die For, I highly recommend it. Next up, we have Martin Scorsese's After Hours. I had not seen this before. This was also a blind buy. But again, there was no way that this wouldn't appeal to me. I saw this a day before I went to go see Marty Supreme. I had a feeling they'd be a good like double feature pairing. And I believe I was right in making that decision. So I will say, though, that this isn't like a top 5 Scorsese movie for me. I didn't love it the way I was hoping I would. It's very good. I had a lot of fun with it, but it didn't entirely click. I would rather go to a Taxi Driver or a King of Comedy before coming back to After Hours. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll feel different on a rewatch. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. Had a lot of fun with it. It's I don't know, kind of the definitive One Crazy Night movie. So it's very funny. So I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. I think this is one of the great covers in the Criterion collection. So if you're like me and you haven't seen After Hours yet, I do recommend it. All right, next up, I have Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick's film. I saw this a few years ago and I didn't really care for it. I appreciated it from a production standpoint, performance standpoint, all that stuff. It's a Kubrick movie, so I don't need to tell you why, like what he's good at, but this didn't connect with me on like a super deep level or anything. It's not really for me. I'm not really a period piece guy like that, but this rewatch, I did rewatch it a couple weeks ago and it did a lot for me. I really enjoyed it. It's in my top 5 for Kubrick now, I would say. I don't know. That's the importance of rewatches, is that like this totally connected with me now. I got all the themes. I understood it. I found it compelling and it didn't drag at all, even though it's over 3 hours long. So Barry Lyndon, I'm now in the Barry Lyndon camp. I'm glad to say that I get it. So I do wonder, there's some other Kubrick films that I'm a little lukewarm on that I wonder if I would appreciate more now that some time has passed since the first time I saw them. So maybe this year I'll do a bit more of a Kubrick rewatch. Next up, we got The Graduate. I've been meaning to rewatch this for, I don't know, almost a year since graduating college. Not that I really relate to this at all, but I don't know. I saw it as I started college, and I wanted to close out college with it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I do have a copy of it now, so I can still throw it on. But Dustin Hoffman's great. I love the ending of this movie. I think it's it's very smart, and the editing in this is very good and pretty remarkable. I think it kind of makes the movie for me. some really incredible shots underwater. I just like it's a bona fide classic. I really don't need to elaborate on The Graduate for you, but I do recommend it if you haven't seen it before. Next up, we have Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't own a copy of it, which is kind of crazy to say. I have most of the Wes Anderson films on Criterion, with the exception of the newer ones. I don't know if I'll upgrade French Dispatch and Isle of Dogs to Criterion. Maybe I will. I don't know. But yeah, this is one of, I think, the first Wes Anderson film I saw, because I saw it as a kid and I was a fan of the book. And I don't know. It's I think it's my favorite movie in his filmography, and it always will be. And it's one of the reasons I'm into film. One of the reasons that I love stop motion, and it's just like, it's such a vibe, and it's so funny to me, and I don't know, I just like love every single part of this. It's kind of a comfort watch, great movie to watch in the fall, like a mid-November type of movie. So I'm glad to finally have this. It's been like long overdue. I'm not sure the next time I'll throw it on, but I feel like a poser not owning it and being such a fan of the movie. So I'm glad to have it in my collection now. Final movie that I have before we move on to the books is Eyes Without a Face. And I know I've said that a lot of things are underrated here, but this is probably the most underrated, and one that I recommend maybe the most if you haven't seen yet. This is a like early to mid French new wave film that is not like most French new wave films. I'll say that. It is a horror movie that is a surgery. It's like surgery body horror. Which is very different from a lot of what we were seeing coming out of France at that time. But it is kind of disturbing for its era. I mean, it doesn't compare to anything coming out now in more contemporary times. But I think at this time, this would have probably been like some really nasty stuff. I love it a lot, though. I think this is a movie Edgar Wright has shout out a few times. I think Edgar Wright put it on a lot of people's radar, but that's where I got it from. And I don't know, it's just a very cool horror thriller. I don't want to like get into the plot of it because I think it would tell you too much about what it is, but I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it before. So Eyes Without a Face, one of the coolest movies in the Criterion Collection, one of the best covers in the Criterion Collection as well, so that's awesome. Next up, we have some of the books that I've gotten this holiday season, and we have a small screenplay of Get Out. As I said, this movie would come up again. It's not like a traditional screenplay by any means. It's like a small handbook, but cool to see. It's a great screenplay to study if you are into this sort of genre and want to learn more about how the functions of this type of screenplays work. I highly recommend it. I have not opened it up yet and like read any of it, but I will get to it at some point for sure. I would like to get the ones of Us and Nope as well. I know that they make small little handbook ones of those too. Our next screenplay is the Batman, Matt Reeves' The Batman. This is one of my favorite movies of the decade. Probably the best superhero movie to come out this decade as well. It has an interview with Matt at the start of it, which is great. Some images from the movie are in the book. And then we have the screenplay, which again isn't like a traditional screenplay. It's just kind of, I don't know, done in book form, I guess. But I don't know. I love this screenplay, and I've read about half of this so far. Had a good time with it. I always love to throw a movie on and like read along with it, which is, I don't know, some nerdy shit we would do in screenwriting classes a couple years ago. But I love this screenplay. Love the vibes of this movie. So it's cool to like see it written out and the thought process behind all of it. I don't know how like accurate it is to the movie, or like how accurate it is to the original screenplay. I think it's just kind of ripped from the movie itself. Same thing with the Get Out one. But I love to have things like this just like on the shelf. Next we have a Roger Corman book called How I Made 100 Movies in Hollywood and Never Lost a Dime. Correct. It's a long title. So if you don't know who Roger Corman is, he's a producer, director from like the 60s and 70s. That's like the prime of his career was that era. And he made a lot of B movies, exploitative movies, and found a lot of young filmmakers that would go on to do great things. He's just like kind of a fascinating case study, the amount of movies he made that were successful and not successful and things like that. But in the past year or so, I've gotten more into the producer side of understanding the industry. It was kind of a blind spot for me a long time because it is not the most easy thing to approach. I'm excited to learn more about this sort of mode of filmmaking during this era. I just find it very interesting. So I highly recommend something like this if you're interested in producing and understanding how all of that works and operates. So our final thing that I have to show off is my favorite horror movie. One of my passions and love when it comes to film is just listening to people gush about their favorite movies and how it influenced their careers. And this is just like a series of essays about that. Various filmmakers and creative people just talking about the things they love and why they love it and what it means to them. So I don't know if I'll read like the whole book, but maybe if there's specific people I like that are, specific directors and creative people that I enjoy, I'll check out their chapter. If it's a movie I like, I'll look at that, and just see how it influenced their career and what it means to them. So that is my favorite horror movie. I don't know if I recommend it or not. Well, I haven't opened it up yet, but that is something I now own. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and, listening to me ramble about the things I got for Christmas and have purchased in the recent Criterion sale. Normally I just buy like 2 or 3 movies on the Criterion sale, but I kind of went, I did a little more this time. I bought 8, so that's cool. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Feel free to subscribe and tell me how much you hate these movies and how much you hated listening to me ramble about them, and that I'm wrong. So I would love to hear about that. But yeah, we'll have a new episode out soon, hopefully about Marty Supreme and maybe the most anticipated movies of 2026. So yeah, thank you for stopping by. Have a good rest of your day.